Hello everybody, my name is Rick Dangerous and welcome to my No Man's Sky Permadeath tutorial. This is going to be a guide and a tutorial on how to survive the very beginning of permadeath on No Man's Sky. I'm going to try to talk through exactly what I'm doing on this first planet as well as the second planet. So immediately you initialize and it scans our surroundings. So you can see right here there's two sodium right next to me. There usually always is sodium. I made the mistake of always looking for a cave in the beginning of the game, but that's not needed. We're going to go straight to that sodium. You can see the camera rotating around to the left. The sodium's off to my right at about maybe 90 degrees right now, so I'm just taking note of that. So as soon as it spawns in here, I'm going to hold in tab to the screen gives me some sort of like journey thing or a solar system thing, and I'm going to hold in tab to get that off the screen immediately. So the first thing I'm going to do is get sodium, and our scanner is going to be broken. And I've always made the mistake of just running to a cave right away, but that's not needed. You want to run to that sodium first. So you can see my shields in the bottom left. They're depleting pretty quickly. On permadeath, you start with very, very low thermal protection, or any type of protection. It might be radiation, it might be cold, heat. But all I'm going to do is focus on ferrite dust. And what I'll do now is once it's getting low, I'm going to recharge it with that sodium using the quick menu. On PC, it was X to bring that up. So now my shields are almost full. And I have plenty of time to get all this ferrite. There's really no reason to run into this cave, if this is even a cave. Sometimes you're not going to have a cave at the start. So look at your surroundings. And yeah, this time I don't even think I had a cave nearby. So this is perfectly fine. Find your sodium. Next, we're going to just keep getting ferrite dust, and I'm going to hit tab, and I'm going to go to the scanner and repair my multi-tool. We needed 75 ferrite dust to repair the multi-tool. Now we can use the scanner. We can hit C, and we're also going to get a waypoint to the first location of the mission. So you can see as soon as I hit C on the scanner, some oxygen showed up nearby. We didn't get any sodium, but we got oxygen. And oxygen's important. Just as important as sodium early on, because we're going to be running and flying with the jetpack a lot, and we're going to burn through oxygen. So if we give the game a little bit of time, you're going to be able to see a waypoint activate. Oh, we actually have to recharge our hazards first before that waypoint will come up. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's get our hazards up above 70%. I may have to get more sodium for that to happen. So let's head down this way and look for sodium. There it is. Be very careful with fall damage. Okay, let's recharge our hazards again. Okay, so now our hazards are above 80%, which means it's going to give us a marker to our ship location, and here's the marker. So we just want to get there as fast as possible and stop for any oxygen or sodium that we see on the way. There's really nothing else we really need to stop for. Just oxygen, sodium. This dihydrate, you want to get this during this initial sequence of missions on this planet. We're talking like first half hour of the game. So if you have time, if your hazard protection is fine, and if you're running past it anyway, you might as well pick it up. So my scanner finally did recharge, so let's go ahead and scan again. And again, we're just looking for oxygen and sodium that's kind of nearby. I'm not going to run down there for that sodium. It's out of the way. We're just going to keep heading to this marker. We have plenty of hazard protection. You want to be aggressive in permadeath in the beginning. You want to make your way to the marker as fast as you can, but you do want to be efficient on the way and pick some things up. Like I said, oxygen, sodium, and dihydrate. And any ferrite dust you can pick up, as long as you keep moving, it's perfectly fine. So here's a lot of carbon. We need carbon. I forgot to mention carbon. You want to pick up carbon because once your mining beam runs out, you need carbon to recharge it. So we need to make sure we get carbon as we do this. Which our mining beam just did run out. We have a little bit of carbon. And I'm going to make sure I get some more. And we're just going to keep moving towards our ship. But yes, carbon is very important. You don't want to be stuck with your mining beam running out and then not having any carbon left. So I did another scan. There's always going to be oxygen next to your ship. Always. It didn't actually show up yet. With that, oh, the scan is not ready. It's still recharging. That's why the oxygen hasn't shown up. So dihydrogen, ferrite dust, carbon, those are all things we want to pick up. I think there's a hazardous flora maybe hitting us right there. I'm not sure. But our ship is there. We can get inside anytime. But I'm just spending some time to get ferrite dust and carbon. Alright, let's get inside the ship. And I'm not going to bother with talking about what these missions are or reading what it says on the screen, but you want to just follow this tutorial. They're going to tell you that your ship is damaged and you need to repair it. There's going to be two things that are broken. The pulse, let's see, it'll tell us in a sec. The pulse engine and the thrusters to take off are both damaged. So let's scan now. Like I said, there's always oxygen next to your ship, and it's important to grab that. So here's the oxygen. Alright, we got all the oxygen. I'm going to get more carbon, just so we have a way of recharging. And then what I like to do as soon as I get to the ship, and we can get this sodium, and yes, it's perfectly fine to loot these chests. Sometimes you can get more sodium in these chests, or even oxygen. Okay, let's get back in our ship because our hazard protection is basically depleted. So that's going to slowly recharge. So what I would like to do is make a metal plating right away, and that's why it's good to get extra ferrite dust. Okay, and with that metal plating, we can build the portable refinery. Let's go ahead and craft some carbon into condensed carbon. Let's pick this back up. And I'm going to do half a stack, or a little bit as fuel, and the rest as the input, and we'll get some condensed carbon from this. So while we wait for that, let's get more carbon and more ferrite dust. I'm keeping the mining beam hot, but trying not to overheat it. And we're out, so let's pick up this condensed carbon. And we're going to condense some more. And we can replenish our mining beam with the condensed carbon. And we can replenish our life support with oxygen. So the reason we're getting ferrite dust is we're going to need metal plating and pure ferrite to help repair the starship. And I'll show you that in a second. Okay, let's go ahead and hop into the ship while our hazard protections recharge. And we are going to craft the metal plating and go over to the starship, and we're going to repair the pulse engine. We don't have the hermetic seal yet. This is once you repair the metal plating, it's going to tell us about the hermetic seal. And we're going to open this drop pod over here, and it's going to give us the location of the hermetic seal. But before I do that, I am going to repair the rest of the ship. It's the launch thrusters that we need to repair. Dihydrogen jelly and pure ferrite. So let's go ahead and hop out. And let's put in ferrite into our refiner. And we're going to make pure ferrite. We only need, let's see here. We only need 50. So we don't need to make much more than that. And I'm also going to craft the dihydrogen jelly now. That's why we pick up the dihydrogen. That costs 40. And let's stop this when it hits 50. So we're already past 50. We're going to stop that. Alright, so now we can repair the launch thrusters. Okay, so the last thing we need to repair is we need to get the hermetic seal. And this is the last part of this mission on this planet. So let's go ahead and loot this damaged machinery, because like I said, these can drop sodium, they can drop oxygen, they can drop all sorts of stuff, nanites. Yeah, well, there we got nanites. Alright, and we're pretty set on the materials we need. I'm going to pick up the portable refinery. I'm going to get in the ship, and we need to let our thermal protection recharge to 100%. So what I'm going to do while we wait is I'm going to move my other technologies into the Starship technologies into the technology tab to save space. And do yourself a favor and dismantle the rocket launcher to get more condensed carbon and, more importantly, the copper we're going to need later for a mission on the next planet. So do yourself a favor and dismantle the rocket launchers to get early game carbon or copper. I'm just going to clean up my inventory while we wait for the thermal or for the hazard protection to recharge. I'm going to move my technology into the technology slot just to kind of multitask on time, open up my geodes and things like that. So yeah, we are good to go. This is mission number 2 now. It's going to be getting the planetary chart from this beacon, and they're going to guide us to the hermetic seal. Now here's the catch. And this is why we recharged our hazard protection to 100%. As soon as we read this planetary chart, it's going to kick off a timer for a storm to come. And the storm is going to be deadly. So we're going to want to run like hell as soon as we read this planetary chart. And we're going to make our way to the hermetic seal. There's really no reason to stop for anything. Unless it's like sodium on the way or oxygen, we don't need to stop. So we want to always sprint. Always do the jump and boost trick where you can boost faster that I'm doing now. You can look that up on YouTube if you don't know how. But sprint and jump, and we're just going to run the whole way there. We can scan on the way, but like I said, we're not going to go out of our way. So there is sodium over here. I will stop and get that since it's on the way. But I'm not too worried about harvesting, ferrite dust and things like that. You should already have enough of that from earlier before. We just want to get here before the storm comes. We want to save as much sodium as we can. We don't want to get caught in the storm and have to burn through our spare sodium to replenish our hazard protection. And like I said, here's more sodium, so we will stop for this. It's on the way. And yeah, I've always made the mistake that I had to look for a cave in the beginning and hide in the cave for a long time and build up a bunch of stuff. That's not needed. If you're playing Permadeath, this is all you need. You just need to be fast and aggressive. And I assume the same is true for survival. I never play survival, but I think survival is pretty much the same thing as Permadeath, except you don't permanently die. But the concepts are the same. So we actually made it here right when the storm hit because all I did was run. And this part is going to give us the hermetic seal. And really that's it. Once you get the hermetic seal, you get back to your ship and they fly you off the planet. Now, the storm is still going to be out here for a couple minutes. So what I like to do is I like to just stand inside the building here and harvest carbon and ferrite dust, because that's stuff we're going to need in the next couple missions. So while there's a storm and we can't really go outside for too long, it's a good time to look for this stuff. And also it's telling us we need to there's another mission here. If you press F to bring up your visor, it's telling you have none. That'll kick off another mission, so I like to do that while I'm here. I like to install the visor, and we just need a carbon nanotube to install the visor. So the visor is actually part of the multi-tool. So now we can hit F and see where our ship is, which is over there. Now if you wanted to, you could explore other stuff. There's a humming sack over here that gives some credits, some pearls that are worth money, like just for example, here's 2 pearls. And there's always usually a damaged container around this building as well. And I know it's storming, but as long as we stay close to these 2 buildings, we're pretty safe. I don't see the damaged container, so I'll go ahead and get back in. But yeah, just as a quick example, we just got 2 pearls that are worth 18,000. That's pretty decent money early on in the game. So if there is something nearby, feel free to go get it. I'm just telling you the minimum of what you should be getting, and that's basically carbon and ferrite dust at this point. Here's some more humming sacks. We can go get these. They're going to sell for units once we get to the space station. So again, we can't make our way back to the ship yet because the storm is just too unforgiving. But we can hang out here and harvest some things. Here's a cave we could go into if we wanted to. There's the damaged container I was telling you about. There's usually always one around here. So let's go ahead and open that. Alright, so the storm stopped. Let's go ahead and hop in this building and let our hazards recharge. And the mission is telling us to scan something. So I'm going to scan one thing on this planet. But that's basically it. I don't need to scan a lot of things. Alright, let's recharge our oxygen, our life support. Get this last humming sack. And we're going to make our way back to the ship. So it's pretty straightforward. We just run and get the hermetic seal, wait for the storm to pass, and then we run back. Now, like, you could go explore this thing over here, or you know, you can do what you want. But this is just the basics, the fastest, the best method to just get these starter quests done immediately and only get the items that you need. So on the way back, I like to sprint, use my jetpack, focus on more ferrite dust if I can, focus on carbon, and of course dihydrogen. And you can scan also on the way back if there's any oxygen nearby or sodium. Again, I'm not going to go out of my way to get it, but if it's right here, I'll grab it. So don't forget to use your scanner. I'm not too worried about getting salt right now. We can worry about making units later and collecting resources. But really, the basics again for these first few missions are carbon, ferrite dust, dihydrogen, and oxygen. And sodium for survivability as well. And the faster we get back to the ship, the less sodium we have to use, which is always good. Just be very careful with fall damage. So yeah, you can see we're only about 18 minutes in, and we're almost off this planet already. Which is great. We want to keep it short, simple, fast. Fast is good, fast is safe. You gotta be aggressive on this starter planet when you're playing Permadeath. Like I said, pick up all the dihydrogen that's really easy to get. Because when you need dihydrogen jelly, it costs 40, and it's nice to have it. More than likely, you're going to loot at least one dihydrogen jelly from those boxes that we picked up. Alright, so that's it. We already repaired the thrusters before we went and got the hermetic seal. So let's go ahead and repair the pulse engine with the hermetic seal. And that's going to advance the mission. Launch systems online. Press W to take off among the stars. Alright, so you have a couple options here. We can go straight to the next marker for the mission. Or if I'm doing like a long-term playthrough here, what I like to do is scan each planet in this solar system to see what type of planet it is. Because if there's like a lush planet that has nice greens and low hazards and things like that, it might be worth to note that before you continue with this next quest. Okay, so it's telling us to test our ship, shift to boost, space to pulse engine. So we got to get through those missions. There we go. I like to shoot some of these asteroids while I'm waiting for the marker to upload, just to get some free resources there. But yeah, if you scan all of these planets first, you can kind of decide which planet you want to make home in this solar system. And home doesn't necessarily have to be in this solar system long term. It's just they need you to set up an initial base. And if possible, I like to scan these planets and find a planet that I'm kind of happy with. But I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to go straight to the signal source. I'm fine building anywhere, and this doesn't have to be a permanent planet. What I will do when I get close, I will scan it though, just so I have it in my archive or in my discoveries tab. But I'm just going to go straight for the next signal source. Like I said, I'll stop here with the pulse drive and scan it real quick. Always shoot the asteroids just to get free resources. So this planet has salvageable scrap, copper, magnetized ferrite, and it's a quagmire planet. I honestly don't know what that means. You can look it up online what quagmire means. If I didn't like it, I could go scan another planet. But either way, we need to go to this signal source. So this is going to tell us to set up a base computer, and that's where if you found a better planet, you could leave this planet and go set up your base computer somewhere else. I'm just going to set it up here because I want to do the fastest, easiest start to Permadeath playthrough. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and land. And for the purposes of this playthrough, this is going to be my home planet for the foreseeable future. So it is worth, if you're going to harvest something that has a secondary mineral, like this bush right here, it's carbon plus something, I would analyze it first so I get the bonus. Okay, so let's hit P and check this planet out. Weather is humid, regular patrols for sentinels. So, I mean, it looks like a decent planet. It actually doesn't even have any hazards. So, as always, you can loot these boxes. Early game, it's well worth it. So, I think a quagmire planet's actually pretty good. I don't believe there's a hazard here. Is our inventory full? No, not yet. Okay. I don't know why this box doesn't want to open. There we go. Okay. So back to the task at hand. Well, there's lots of boxes here. So let's get them. This is what I would do in a real playthrough. But like I said, before you use your mining beam on things, you should scan them first so you get the secondary resource. But I'm not going to be scanning things just yet. Wow, that's a big flyer. Okay, so they're telling us to go to the signal source. Oh, and if I scan, there's usually oxygen here where you land, I think. Maybe not. Where is this? Okay, so we need starship fuel. They want us to craft a metal plating. This is why it's nice to have a lot of ferrite dust on hand. And now we can craft the launch fuel because we have dihydrogen. Let's put it in the launch thrusters here. Alright, so we recharge that, locate the signal source. Okay, I'm just clicking through these very quickly. So this is where they want me to get copper for the base computer. And earlier I told you to do yourself a favor and deconstruct the rocket launchers. Because we deconstructed the rocket launchers, we got the copper we need to make the chromatic metal. So I'm going to go ahead and start processing that copper into chromatic metal. It just saves us the step of going around trying to find copper deposits and going and harvesting it when we don't really want to do that right now. So we need to craft the terrain manipulator. So let's install that. It's 2 nanotubes and another jelly. We have the jelly. So we need more carbon for the nanotubes. So let's go ahead and get carbon. And since there's sentinels nearby, I'm only going to mine things that are far away so the sentinels don't know it's me. Looking for more carbon. So I have a lot of condensed carbon, but I just need regular carbon. And our personal refiner is currently making the chromatic metal. As a tip and trick, you can... oh, we need a medium refinery for that. Never mind. I was going to say we can add oxygen to carbon to make more carbon, but we need the medium refinery to do that. So we're stuck here just getting carbon the old way, which is fine. So this is plenty of carbon. Let's grab more, though, because they're going to want us to build a base, and wooden structures require carbon. Alright, good enough for now. So let's go back to our terrain manipulator. We need to make carbon nanotubes. Okay. And now the terrain manipulator is built. They want us to gather copper. We already did that. Turn it into chromatic metal. We already did that. So let's put that in our exosuit. So now they want us to construct the base computer. So you can see here how we deconstructed those rocket launchers to get the chromatic metal that we needed. And don't forget, there's always going to be salvage data right next to where this beacon is. So always pick up that salvage data. Alright. Register the land as our own at the base computer. So we're going to claim the base. Okay, we're going to search the archives. So from this point forward, every hour and a half, we can get a new mission at the base computers. And this kicks it off with the first one. As soon as we get this mission, a storm is going to approach. Even if the planet doesn't have storms, the game is going to kick off a storm. So we're going to build a small structure here. It tells us to build a floor. Now it tells us to build the walls. Let's build the walls. You can hear the weather warning coming. Let's build the door. And now it's going to tell us to build a roof. Okay, so that mission's done. Return to the base computer. And the storm's incoming, but we have a shelter now. And that shelter required carbon, so that's why I grabbed extra carbon just now. We got the construction research unit, magnetized ferrite. So that's going to require pure ferrite. Let's pick up the portable refinery and we'll put it in our house here. Okay, and we're going to put our pure ferrite in here and turn it into magnetized ferrite. And let's see how many we need. We need 20. So we have 12. Let's put some more regular ferrite in here to get pure. Alright, and then let's put this pure ferrite in to make it magnetized. And while we wait on that, we can make the carbon nanotube that we need. Alright. Pick this up. And now we should have the ingredients we need for the construction unit. Alright, so that mission is done. Use our salvage data to purchase upgrades at the construction terminal. First thing we're going to research is the teleporter. We already have 2. We just picked up those 2 salvage data. And then we need to go look for more salvage data to get the biofuel reactor. So let's find one more salvage data, although it's telling us to name our base first. Let's go ahead and name it. Okay, so we named our base. I'm going to scan for salvage data nearby. 322. That's not too bad. Let's go get that. Oh, there is the storm that just hit. I forgot about that. So let's go ahead and hide in here and replenish our life support. So we need metal plating to craft the teleporter, which requires ferrite dust. We only have enough metal plating to make one right now. So let's go ahead and get more ferrite dust. And let's head over to this buried technology while we do it. I don't see that much ferrite dust nearby. Condensed carbon is always good to get, so I recommend grabbing that when you see it. I'm not sure where you get ferrite dust on this planet, to be honest with you. Okay, let's keep heading over to this buried technology. Okay, we're there. Switch to our terrain manipulator. So now we have enough to make the biofuel refinery, but first we need ferrite dust. But I'm not entirely sure where we're going to pick that up at. And as always, you can use your scanner to look for sodium, oxygen, things like that. You're not always going to be on a hazardless planet. Right on the second planet. We just happened to find one. Okay, so here's some ferrite dust. That's a lot of dihydrogen. Let's pick that up real quick. So the drones are investigating. We're going to have to run away from these. They're pretty weak at first. They're not going to kill me. I'm just going to keep moving. Our beam is depleted, so let's replenish that with condensed carbon. But yeah, that's a lot of nice dihydrogen to have early on. So let's head back to our ship. Always be careful with fall damage. Alright, and if we hang out in here, this sentinel should go away. So next steps, we still need ferrite dust. So let's look if there's a cave nearby. I'm wondering if ferrite dust can be found in caves on this planet. This is actually a new issue for me to not have ferrite dust nearby. Here's a salvage container. Okay, it's underground. Let's grab that. Oh, there's still a protective casing. There we go. Let's see. Salvage container, protective casing. Still a protective casing. I'm just dodging these sentinels right now because I really want to open this salvage container. Rare item found. High-tech regulator. Okay, let's get back to our house. Get these sentinels to get away from us. Wow, so that's worth 1.6 million units. The high-tech regulator. Oh, okay, so this planet has salvage scrap on it. That we saw that when we scanned it. So we can keep a lookout for salvage scrap on this planet and sell it for a lot of units. Okay, let's try to go find ferrite dust. I've never had this problem before. Ferrite dust is usually like just sitting everywhere. But at the same time, this planet is full of breathable air and plenty of carbon. So you take the good with the bad. Let's go ahead and replenish our life support. I'm wondering if we actually need a cave to find ferrite dust on this planet, because it looks to be super rare. Okay, here's a cave. Always be careful with fall damage. So I don't see any ferrite dust in here. Just cobalt and carbon. So let's head back out. Let's just keep running. So I might actually go off planet to get the ferrite dust. That might be the fastest, because this planet doesn't seem to have any, at least where we're at. So let's go ahead and do that. That's going to make the tutorial go a little longer, but you need to be prepared for things like this. It's not always going to be the same. Every planet's different. Usually you're going to have a planet full of ferrite dust but not much carbon. Sometimes you'll have hazards on your planet. But all the concepts are the same. Let's grab this oxygen. Alright. So we have starship fuel. We've already made some. Let's go ahead and take off. So this is the first time for me to have to leave a planet to go get ferrite. Okay, and it's telling us to investigate the space station. So we'll go do that now. We can actually buy ferrite there. So those are the basics. The only thing left to do is get ferrite dust for the metal plating, and then build the biofuel reactor so we have a teleporter. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Let's talk to these life forms to advance the story. I believe you just have to talk to 3 of them. As a tip, don't talk to the vendors behind the desks, because once you talk to 3 people, those 3 people won't ever talk to you again. So if you talk to like the exosuit vendor right now, he'll never talk to you again in the entire playthrough. Okay, he's telling us to go back to our base computer. Before we do that, let's go ahead and purchase some ferrite dust. That's the easiest way to get it. And we're going to sell the pearls, which are pretty normal to be able to find those. That's 50,000. The cool thing that we found, though, was the high-tech regulator, 1.6 million. It's nice to get that really early on. Okay, we're going to buy... Oh, instead of buying ferrite dust, we can just straight up buy metal plating. So that's nice. Let's buy 10 of those so we have them. We want to buy ion batteries, and we want to buy life support gel. And we can buy ferrite dust as well. Let's buy a stack of 500, just so we have it. Oxygen is nice to have. And we're probably going to need some microprocessors at some point, but that's beyond this guide. We're getting into more missions. I'm going to delete the rusted metals and the goos, because that's just chump change right now. There's no reason for us to sell that. We can open these crystals, and I can start putting ferrite dust in our cargo to save space. We can put condensed carbon or just carbon in our cargo. Let's go ahead and upgrade our exosuit inventory. And the other thing you could do while you're here is you could search the life forms that fly into the space station and buy like chromatic metal, because you need a lot of chromatic metal early on in the playthrough. A lot of the missions coming up are going to require chromatic metal, and it's so much easier just to buy it. To keep this video short, I'm not going to stand here and wait for life forms to come into the station, but that's what I probably would do if I was doing a complete playthrough right now. I would probably sit around and maybe buy like 500 chromatic metal. Definitely upgrade your exosuit inventory. I like to upgrade the cargo of the very first one. It's only 5,000, and cargo holds a lot of space. You can check the vendor just to make note of what he sells for next time, because we do want a movement module first or a shield module. So he doesn't sell it, so we'll get that in the next system. We can move our magnetized ferrite over to our cargo to save space. And then we can check the back room for chromatic metal as well. This back room sometimes has... and I like to talk to this guy. There's a chance if you guess correctly, you can get nanites or something good. I'm going to give him metal. So I chose wrong, so he's not happy. But if I chose right, he might give you some cool stuff. No chromatic metal here. We are going to need microprocessors, and we have the money. So I'm going to buy 10 just so we have them. We're going to need at least 5 in one of the next missions. So let's just go back to base and set up our teleporter, and that'll basically be the guide. This is Permadeath, the most efficient, fast, safest start you can do. Again, the only thing I would do different is I might hang around here and try to purchase some chromatic metal. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I want to keep it pretty short, so I don't want to hang around that long. But the next thing we're doing is we're getting the biofuel reactor and the wiring so that we can power up our portal. We can teleport back to the space station anytime we want. Okay, our quest is telling us to access the base computer, I believe. Visit the base computer. Alright, and let's go ahead and craft the teleporter. We just need carbon nanotubes now. We should have plenty of carbon for that. I'm going to place the teleporter outside here. It's too big for our little house. So I'll just put it right here. Let's build the under power, we can build the biofuel reactor. Or we're not quite ready yet. I guess the mission isn't ready for that yet. Learn the biofuel reactor, right. So we need to... did we end up getting that salvage data? I think we did, or did I get sidetracked? Let's see, buildable technology. Oh, we forgot to get that salvage data. Where was that at? Let's see. I was close to getting it, and I think I got sidetracked and ended up not getting it. Here it is, 300 away. Let's go get it real quick. I really want to teach you guys how to make the portable refiner, or make the biofuel reactor, so that we can get the portal online and have a quick travel to the space station. So yeah, this is the one we were going to get, and I think I forgot to grab it while we were up there. I think I was looking for ferrite dust and forgot to grab it. So it's up here somewhere. Here it is. Alright, let's head back to base. replenish our life support. We have plenty of that now since we bought it at the space station. So I hope this guide has been helpful for you guys. We're about to wrap it up. We're at about 45 minutes. I wanted to keep it around 45 minutes, but we got a little slowed up with the whole ferrite debacle. But we made it. Let's go ahead and learn the biofuel reactor from the construction terminal. Eventually we can learn solar panels. Actually, we have enough to get the battery, and then next would be solar panels. But let's go ahead and build the reactor. I'm just going to set it right next to the teleporter. Then we're going to put down some wiring, just one from the biofuel to the portal. I'm going to go ahead and save the game here. And we need to fuel the biofuel reactor. Here's a pro tip, very important. The first time you fuel this, use C for PC players to cut your stack down to 1. Just fuel it with 1 carbon. You don't want to fuel it with your whole stack or you're going to lose all your carbon. You just need 1 to kick off the mission. So the biofuel reactor is fueled. We now have access to the space station from this portal. Our mission is sending us off planet to continue the quests, but what you can do, if you put in about 5 or 10 carbon, that's enough to have power for a few seconds, just enough to power the portal, just enough to talk to it, and then you can teleport wherever you want, in this case the space station. So there it is. I taught you guys how to do the first few missions in the game, set up your first base, and more importantly, find the space station and get a portal connected to it so you can teleport back and forth whenever you want. It only costs about 5 carbon to use the portal, and eventually you can build a battery and a solar panel, and then you'll have unlimited power to be able to use the portal whenever you want without using carbon. So yeah, that does it for the guide. Next steps will be just to continue the normal quest mission, but I'm not doing a complete playthrough. I just wanted to give a quick beginner guide and tutorial to Permadeath. All these things that I taught you just now are true for survival mode as well as normal mode. But you can see here, if you do it the way I did it, Permadeath really isn't that difficult. Biggest risk is fall damage. Do not die to fall damage. Thanks a lot for watching. If you guys like my videos, please like and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment if you have any suggestions or any tips on how I can improve on this early game playthrough. And if you like Terraria or Raft or Ark, 7 Days to Die, check out my other YouTube videos. I have a lot of Let's Play series on those. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Have a good day.